speciality here.
Forgotten. This is Harbor Town. Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a new level.
That was crazy. It looks like it's getting a little lighter, so I think it's passed. So, you guys hear us? Whew! That was messed up. I went by you, Jason, a little bit earlier. Yeah, it was pretty nasty, man. I know we don't live that far away from each other. Woo!
Yeah, how far apart are you guys?
Probably 20 miles at most.
Okay.
Well, and he's Delaware, and I'm in. I gotta go through PA to get to him. So I'm in Jersey. I cross over the bridge, go through the southern part of Delaware County and PA, and then head right down to the Wilmington area. So
a big cell could hit you both, and a small cell will not be to be separate. Yep.
Now it's heading toward Christoph.
Okay. Uh-oh. Really?
He's next.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
Let's see here.
That was the wrong button, but that's all right. We'll do that one first. Some things are working, some are... Yeah, it looks like everything's up. So even when my network comes back up, the Orbeez got to reboot once the network's up, so that's why it takes a little longer than normal. New ad. Something new. 3 weeks away.
Okay. Well, that's why you researched Narwhal.
Oh, yeah. We're starting a new first level campaign.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep. New first in Narwhal. That was pretty scary there for a bit there, but I think we're okay now. Woo! Jason, can you hear me? No one is all. You like that? Yeah. Ah! That's the living Greyhawk talk. That's living Greyhawk speak. No one's on your side. No one's on your side on 220th, Casey. I hate to tell you that. We shall see. I think Anna will be your saving grace that night.
Oh yeah, we're a team. Yeah. Yep, Casey, we're a team. Yeah. I'm not sure why people love me. I'm too political at times, so but we'll see. At least, yeah, we could be a team. Yeah.
That's funny.
If no one's on your side, how can you trust Dana?
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Stupid thing. Yes, someone will be on your side. We're going to start that hopefully 2 weeks from Thursday. So the next adventure we're going to run is the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to run that. So hopefully. That went too la 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 la. Guys, this ends in like this ends in, I think, a day and a half. So check it out. Check it out. Oh! Here comes a surprise, surprise, surprise.
Oh, okay.
A pantless Leonard.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up? Hi, Leonard.
Hello.
How are you today?
That's unclear. I have to get blood tests tomorrow. And then
Oh!
But the air conditioning is working, right?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah, because we have 100 here, so you probably must have 118 or something like that.
Well, I did look at the scale this morning, and I've lost 95 pounds since my worst weight a number of years ago. So that was good news. And they're going to do a biopsy on the pelvis Monday. That'll be fun. They've done that twice before, so it's just not fun. It feels strange.
It's a pound of flesh that science needs to fix it.
They take a little hammer and put a small, very small hole, and then they take a drill and they go into your pelvis, and then they draw out some material. Great fun.
Pass the word around, guys. Leonard's hopped on again tonight.
Yep.
For a wonderful discussion tonight.
Let's see, what was the topic you're doing again?
The Greyhawk Adventures hardback book by Jim Ward.
Yep.
Aha. One of your favorites.
Yep.
The Greyhawk, wait. That came up and down too fast. I didn't see it.
It came, this one. It came up, this one.
Oh, I didn't. I don't know what I had that one.
Really?
It's
It's got some great
Yeah,
stuff
I may
in it.
not.
Hang and comment. Give us some commentary.
It's from
So-
1988.
I tried to get Jim on, but he didn't respond. Casey, stand by, because if we got Leonard for a normal 25 minutes to half hour, then you may want to hop on, okay? As we start ramping up here.
All I did was download the ship voyage from Gladstone in Keelan all the way to Reston.
Right, for that adventure.
Yeah. No Fort again.
This is some good stuff. And that's when we did the artifact one a little while ago. There was all these in this book that we didn't get to. So I said after last week, let's do this. So here comes the boxes.
It's a voyage of 4,680 miles.
I'm sorry, wait,
Yeah.
I lost you on that.
Yeah, it's from Redstone to
Gladstone to Reston.
Yeah, that is quite a bit.
It touches on a lot of places. Just, cameo visit. You can go into the calendar and explains on the calendar how the people, what's going to become the party interact with They have various missions to do in L4, which culminates in L5.
Good evening. All right, so guys, I'm under a tornado warning here, and I lost internet once already. But hopefully it's passed. Fortunately, I didn't lose power, so thank you.
Where are
It's
you
South
again?
Jersey, nonetheless. So crazy, but it moseyed right through here pretty nastily. I know, Jason, you got it too. But good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We're gonna have some fun tonight. And Leonard hopped on too, and we're gonna talk about with myself and Leonard and Anna and Mike Bridges. As you can see, this is the great, and Blue Blocks, thank you so much for this raid.
Yes.
This is the great book by Jim Ward. Mine is getting beat up because I use it so much. Oh, I have the miniature downstairs. I forgot the mini book. I have one of the mini books of
you
this.
have the mini one on
Oh,
that one.
I do
the
of
mini
this,
book?
yeah. And that's a great one to have, man. That's worth
Well,
a pretty penny.
Mike, was it you who had the miniature set of the box set, or was it Jason?
Jason has it.
Yeah, because I
am
seen it. I've
jealous.
hold it. He showed it to me, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was yours
Yeah.
or it was his.
Yeah,
because we
that's the
were
one
sitting around the
thing that
table.
he has that I'm very jealous of.
Yeah.
So
mhm.
guess what? Looks like my Streamlabs isn't working either. Oh man.
Okay.
I don't
yeah.
think it's
Seven.
working. So let's see. Oh, it is working. Okay. So thank you, Blue Box, for the raid. It didn't pick it up in the Streamlabs, but hope you're all doing well tonight. And we got a lot of announcements, a lot of things to discuss. I'm gonna put this up. I'll start right off the bat with this. Work to join the brand new virtual Greyhawk Con 2020 Discord, which is getting set up for the convention we're going to have in October. There you go, guys. It's separate. This is not. It's not really a general discussion thing, but if you're going to participate in the con, it's a great place to go. We got it all set up. Thank you, Josh Zarathon and Phantom. You know, are the main guys that are working on it right now to get that up and going. So, you know, did I ever go to ShoreCon? One time, Jason, a long time ago. Yeah, it may have to go to Oktoberfest if I get that letter back from. I sent them a letter and they said we've escalated it and we'll get back to you. That was Wizards.
Yep.
So Leonard, what's going on in your world, man?
Well, nothing other than hospital visits. It's just
We feel for you, man. We pray.
Yep.
We pray for you too, man. I really, you know.
we live in hope. I just have to dodge coronavirus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really have to not get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. So, were you friends with Jim Ward at all? Did you know him? Drawmage.
A bit.
Okay.
I may have met him. We might have been on a panel at one point in one convention.
Okay.
He was at one end of the table, I was at the other end of the table.
Yeah.
That's cool. He's this book is awesome. Mike, what do you want to say about this, man? Generalizations.
Generalization, it's well made. It holds up better than
It's not
modern
falling apart.
books.
Well, it was that
Yeah.
time of the when they.
It's, I got Arthur Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
The
not. It's not,
binding's great.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good thing.
I had
And
to
it has
put
a
my
Jeff
tape
Easley
on my
cover.
Greyhawk today.
What was that, Leonard?
I had to put more tape on my Greyhawk.
Oh, but that means you got good use out of it, though.
Oh, I've gotten all kinds of use.
We know where Jason stands. He just said he hates the book. But Jason, that's why we're having you on for the announcement for next week. Trust me, you will love the topic, Jason, for next week's Legends and Lore. Okay?
Yep.
That's all I'll say. So thank you all. As I see people are still hopping on. Anna, what are your first impressions?
I think this is an awesome hodgepodge of Greyhawk stuff, because it's not a book with one theme or one type of content. It's everything from spells to geographical information to it's a whole bunch of chapters that are very disparate in what they cover, but they are very Greyhawk related, all of it, of course. So it's kind of, I must say that it's a very interesting hodgepodge of different type of material that kind of, it's great that they managed to get it all into one book.
What year did that come out?
In 1988.
Came out. You're good, Leonard. It came out in '88, and I heard Brian Blomkloss, I think, and Christopher the two that said that this was rushed.
Yeah, this probably old. I don't think this was written. I might be wrong, but I don't get the sense that this was written for the book. I would get the sense that this was written earlier and then put together as in kind of an anthology or something to put together for Greyhawk. That's my judgment from just
Says
reading it.
on the cover that it's compatible with AD&D and second edition, so maybe there's a transition.
Yeah, there's a big
Yeah.
right there. It's not a sticker. It's right into the book that says that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it was the when they merged from first to second edition, I think. Or maybe
Yeah.
they had the plans to abandon
This is not a
Gygax.
module Thessalonian. This is a book. This is a reference guide, and I'm going to tell you why it's so
Yeah.
cool. There's a lot of stuff that's nowhere else, you know. So,
Yeah.
wow, look at that. See, Josh feels bad. I won't say why, but thanks, Josh. So, there are a ton of spells in here, tons of
Yep.
great named wizard spells. Unfortunately, there are no Leomund spells in here, and I think there should be, Leonard, but they're not. There's deities in here, but they scaled it back on the deities.
I noticed that.
There's magic items in here, all named with locations of Greyhawk, which are fantastic. There's the Hall of Heroes. I think this comes from Greyhawk Adventures, the box set, a lot of this, I think. It seems like it's synopsis with minor updates on it. There's adventures in here. There's a couple small ones. There's 0-level adventuring in here. There's
How do you
yeah.
0-level characters?
Yeah,
in,
absolutely.
Like first, second edition. Yep.
Yeah. There's also there's stuff about luck, specialization, random encounters in Greyhawk. There's all sorts of. It's a mishmash.
And it's a lot of fluff, but some crunch to it too. So yeah.
So we wanted to go over this specifically because we didn't touch a single magic item that was in this book or Mike's Greyhawk Wars, which Mike is an expert on, all the items out of that, and the artifacts. So I said, why don't we just do the whole book? And that'll take 2 hours to do it. So
definitely.
yeah, Leonard, I think you have. Is Ouija in here? Did they actually? Did she make the cut? She's not even in here. She's not. All right. Here are the deities in this book. I have them going listing wise. I'll start them up here. Some of these pictures are different. These pictures are for they're not the specific ones in the book, but let's just go through what deities are in this book. It should be in alphabetical order. All right. So first off, Bakub's in this book. Okay. The great thing about this book, second edition, there's one spell. Okay, here's Disc of Concordant Opposition for a specialty priest or a cleric if you're running them of that deity for every one. Okay, which is really neat.
That's remarkable.
So this one's the Disc of Concordant Opposition, 6th-level spell for them. Then the next one is Celestians in here. His spell is cool. It's called Meteors. Now it's kind of scary when the Meteors spell right here. You see the Invoke Devastation pictures right below it, which kind of gives you a lot of foreboding, right? But it's only a 4th-level spell. So they did cut and paste old pictures. There are some new pictures, but Celestians in this book. It wasn't until Greyhawk 98 that Ouija started to get more level. Okay, thank you, Gary Julian. I appreciate that, Gary, because that's a loved deity, a huge beloved deity. St. Cuthbert's in here, 2nd-level spell Beguiling. Alana, 2nd-level spell Stalk. Okay, there's Alana. Farlang, I had 2 Alana pictures because one's in here. Farlang, 4th-level spell Footsore. Okay.
Is that Farlangen?
Yes, Farlangen. Yes, yep,
Farlangen.
Yep, Farlangen. I always pronounce it Farling because I'm from South Jersey and I get everything wrong. So yeah.
I love that. At first, I didn't understand the name, but then I realized if anyone should understand the name because in kind of pseudo-German Scandinavian, it means to stride far. So the name is very appropriate.
Josh, thanks, man. Thanks for the gifts out there.
After a little while, I realized, that's where the name comes from. Yep.
By the way, guys, we're almost a quarter to 10,000 in followers. We're the gate away. So thank you all, man. I never thought I'd get this far, and it's really humbling that we're close to that. And thank you so very much. Yeah. Do you know a lot about this deity, Leonard? Farlang, the
Oh,
Wanderer.
yeah, I'm vaguely familiar with it. As I said once, I did all of Lendor Isle with nothing but Sul gods on it, other than dwarvish gods and gnomish gods, etc. The demi-humans, but um, otherwise, I didn't touch on it. I did expand on Titan in L4 in the companion. I thought I had done Falcon somewhere. Because I look back at Falcon fighting with a stupid dagger and it just,
Yes, but now
annoyed me.
it did. But I was correct on that, and we
Yeah,
have
you're right.
one. We have one on our campaign, and she shoots. She's bow first, but she's a two-fisted fighter, dagger, because that's all she can use. Because she's especially priest of Falcon, and so she's stuck because of your. So don't change it because I like it that way.
Well, I don't know. Well, while you're doing that, let me look at L5 and see if I
Look it up, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Look it
Let me
up.
look it up and see if I did anything.
All right, so we got we have
My
Farling's
scale confidence.
Footsore, right? 4th level spell, Encabulous, who I didn't have the picture up for Encabulous during the Deities discussion. I don't know why, but I do now.
It's not worth looking at.
It's kind of, you can't see the black teeth in that picture that he has. It's kind of scary. It's spooky looking. Plague, 4th level spell. Istis. I don't know a single person in my campaign in 40 years that has played. I have Ayes in there too. I have them out of alphabetical order once again because I'm stupid. Ayes has his spittle spell, so that's a repeat. Istis is next, and she has.
Spittle spell is based on his own spittle ability, I guess.
And what's cool about it is it's 1st level. The range is 10 yards, so 30 feet indoor or outdoor. But you can, if you hit the head and they fail their save, they're unconscious. That's pretty nasty for 1st level, right? So
it's weird. Spittle. I use priest spitting on me. You know who should have spittle is Wall Street priest.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Well, they should have some kind of tongue attack, right? Too, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Phantom, thanks, man. Thank you so very much for everything you're doing, too, to help us out with this convention.
Yeah.
So, this spell, of course, goes into my Ayes specialty priest list. So if you have a specialty priest list made up, you just take these, add these in and refer to, I call it GR2 or GA, Greyhawk Adventures, whatever you refer it in there. Leonard's still looking for Falcon there.
Yeah.
All right, so Istis has a 6th level spell, Enmeshment, which I've never had a single character wanting to be a priest of Istis in the game ever. That's the one. I even have Baka, but I don't have an Istis priest. Does anyone out there ever played a priest of Istis? Anyone?
No, I don't think I've used one in.
Isn't that crazy? It's like the main deity of the whole pantheon, and no one's played one.
Yeah.
Kind of strange.
Well,
NPCs.
Yeah,
you want the warlike ones and the good and the bad ones, not the kind of arbiters and arbiters and time controllers and stuff. That's not that much fun.
You're right. It isn't really that much fun, but
they're important culturally and so on and so forth, but they're not fun to play, and they don't add that much to the mix in NPCs either. So you need sophisticated plots and stuff in order to introduce them.
So Washtri is not in here, but
they missed.
He's
Washtri.
not. But listen, all the Washtri spells you want are in that Earth Journal article. You don't need any more added to the spell list, and they're good. And I pulled right from there. Plus, I made my own Washtri's Blessing, which if you've ever run Horror in the Holes, you get to experience. So, so that there's plenty in that Earth Journal article for Washtri. All right, let me finish this up here. So we got Foltis has it's got to be a light spell. Narol Ebony Tendrils. This spell is really, really nasty. It's 5th level. It is. If you touch the central black sphere, it causes death. Unless you make your death magic save. And it's 5th level, so 9th level. That's a pretty nasty spell. It really is. It's kind of reminds me of the Tharisden wall pulling in thing, right? In the G series and the D. You know, that tentacle wall effect, because these tentacles come out and they pull you into the central mass. Kind of reminds me of that, but it's in the roll spell. So, pretty neat. So let's see here. Foltest has Sunburst, 4th level. Ralashaz has Vicissitude, which I love. You know what's good about that spell? And I love Ralashaz Priest, especially to lead like a group of bandits, because they're chaotic stupid, right? Chaotic neutral. And they'll just run. They don't care. They can't use armor except for leather. They can only use staff. So they're kind of a weak one, but they kind of think they're superior. One of those. Mike, the Vicissitude spell's a protection where you get a bonus to your save, right? But if you roll a 20 when you make your saving throw, a great save, disaster strikes in, like you take the worst possible damage. So say you got hit by a fireball, and a 6-die fireball did like 18 points. If you roll a 20, you take all 36.
Ralashaz.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a great spell.
Yeah.
So yes, bad luck. You can have real good luck, but then you get the bad luck. And then
Yeah.
a deity that is gaining in popularity in my campaign only in the last 2 to 3 years is the last deity. So you go right from R. I think they ran out of space because there's deities. There's no Tritharian in here. It's just weird. You go right to Ula as the last one.
But there is a half a page available, but not enough to get one deity in. So
I think they cut some stuff out between R and U.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that they had more of these lined up somewhere.
So.
Yeah.
Can you give hero points to Anna's dog? Oh,
no, she doesn't need any. Well, she's 18 years old, so she might need some hero points down the line. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Ula has a 6th level spell, Command Earth. So Tim has. All right, don't yell at me, Gary. Please don't. Don't yell at me. Anyone else who doesn't like Underdark creatures. But
I like Underdark creatures usually.
In my Narwhal game, I'm allowing Tim to play a Deep Gnome Priest of Ula.
Oh.
It's not a Dark Elf, it's a Deep Gnome. How do you tell the difference between a gnome and a Deep Gnome? I don't know. So, but yeah, he's playing a Deep Gnome. You all right with that, Mike, too?
Yeah, I mean, can a human really tell the difference, how deep a gnome lives?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sounds cool, good. Yeah, he's playing one. He's playing a specialty.
It's
priest.
A dialect. It's when they speak. That's how they.
Let's ask Leonard this question. Leonard, would you ever? I know what the answer is. Would you ever allow a player character to play a Deep Gnome or a Dark Elf, or either one or neither?
Neither.
Okay. How about a regular gnome's fine though, right?
I mean, I've tried evil parties twice, and it's a fiasco. They rob each other, they stab each other in the back. It's just
Deep gnomes are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no. I don't think it's any fun at all to do all that crap. But what can I tell you?
Yeah, Deep gnomes are good aligned though, Leonard.
Oh yeah, Swiftnibblers.
fight
They're
the
the exception. Yeah.
Yeah, they fight the Dark Elves.
Mm-hmm.
I would allow Deep Gnomes or before Durgar.
Oh my gosh, because they're immune to illusions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. So yeah, he came up with the idea. Well, can I play Deep Gnome? I said, sure. Why not, man? So yeah. All right. So that's the. So anything stand out there with the deities in this list to anyone?
I'll tell you what stands out in that entry, in that section, is the preface by James Ward, where he says that avatars of the gods are usually found in the city of Greyhawk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading it right now.
Huh. Yeah, so it creates an unusual amount of attention from these deities. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Demigods cannot use avatars. Deities usually create equipment to go along with the form.
is the only one who has his original form there. And if you look at the stats, he's probably the most powerful in the book.
Yeah, but he resides on.
But at some point in Greyhawk lore, then they said no more deities running on Greyhawk. But right there, at least in the beginning of 2nd edition, there's lots of gods roaming around the city.
Right. It's a good point, man. I never even noticed that.
Yeah.
once again, I asked Jim to come on. I didn't get a response. I tried. I made the effort, guys. So, yeah. All right, Leonard. So, what do you want to? What comments do you want to make about deities there in our discussion? What do you think? I know you have yours. Did you find out anything about Falcon in that adventure?
No, I'm looking now. In fact, I did create a god in L4. I saw that just as I was printing the thing out. But now I don't know exactly what page that's on. But there was a new.
What, the Aquaman guy or a different one?
No. Well, Aquaman's in there too.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one.
We didn't print him, but he shows up in L4 and has something to do on the. He fights a dragon turtle or something or other.
Oh, okay. I just knocked over 3 things. Sorry.
Only 3.
Well, I was all paranoid. I shut off a ton of stuff when that tornado warning came through. So, yeah. Well, Leonard, you have to take a look at the Falcon and make a what would be the word? An executive decision and just state that they can use other weapons.
I would think that certainly fighters of Falcon use swords and what have you. So I'm a little confused as to what I did there. But yeah, when you look at it, he gets 3 attacks and the amount of damage he can do is fairly considerable. Because it is a magic dagger that he's fighting with if he is forced to fight with it. But why I didn't give him the sword,
I don't know.
It's 25 years ago. What can I do?
But you know what, Leonard? It's cool because it's different. Bows and dagger only is kind of the only one I know of. And I make the character who's playing a specialty priest of it with a developed list and the special abilities that they have go by the rules that you set. So and hey, they should be using their bow 75% of the time, right? So that's what they do, and I think it's neat. So Anna, Mike, between all the deities in here, which do you like? Which don't you like?
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
For me, I like the also how they written about them and that they added some especially the spells and stuff. It's a bit more kind of in depth than earlier ones because they introduced the specialties priest and stuff, and I guess so it's a 2nd edition content creeping in. So I kind of like that. But Ilona is my favorite. I think
great one.
It's yeah.
Great
So that is I love to see more of, and that is I love the kind of elven sylvan kind of that part of the pantheon, so to speak, or
what's
the
cool,
crossover points. Yep.
Anna, what's cool about Ilana, and it goes back to the original Dragon magazine. It says this is where we live. Temples to Ilana are located in sylvan settings. Her following is strongest, ready, in the area from the Wild Coast to the Ulick Fiefs.
Yep.
And from the Cron Hills to the sea, south. I mean, that's my area. Yeah. That's exactly where we came. Yep. So,
very small area.
It is a small area, but it was like, it fits perfectly. So Ilana is worshipped by Gazumba, Hawk, every almost half elf in the game we have worshipped Ilana to start off. It just is the way we went because of what we saw in that. So it's cool. It fits perfectly in there. So
do you use her human or elven aspect?
Depending on the character, if they're more if they're from a House of Selene, elven aspect. If they're a woodsman from the gnarly forest, human. Because remember, the gnarly forest rangers worship her, right? That's their main deity. I think the Swan Maze too are Ilana followers, if I recall, as well. Yeah. And I'm going to bring all that into the Narwhal campaign. Yeah. We're gonna throw all that cool stuff in there. So. Half-elves needed a god. I agree, Gary. Outside of the elven deities, they needed a god. Kind of like Ula is for dwarves and gnomes.
Yeah.
And halflings, right? They don't have really So
I see Ilona as originally an elven goddess that spread to the Flan and then into common worship over the millennia, so to speak. So she has elven roots and then spread as there were more and more interactions and spread culturally into mankind in general, so to speak.
I have a question for Leonard. Leonard, on Lender Isle, elves, who's their deity?
There's a few. Off the top of my head, I don't remember which ones they were, but they were, you know, in the which one, the Best of the Dragon. I used the deities.
Yeah, Volume 3.
Various elven deities.
One of the best publications of all time. So if you look up top and you see I have a shield up here in the upper left-hand corner, I'm working on the houses. So this is House Vicstrolin. Okay, that's Yolan's house in my world, right? All right, and then and the symbols of are on there, and they all represent something. But the second one's House Relforst, and you see there's a heart, a golden heart right up there. Look at that timing. That golden heart is Hanali Selenol's symbol, right? And Hanali Selenol's the elven god of romantic love and beauty. And that House Relforst, that's who they worship. So there you go, Leonard. Right in from Best of the Dragon, Volume 3, and the elven deities. We try and use them as much as possible. In fact, Saturday night, hint, hint, Blue Box people, I will be playing a specialty priestess of Sol Northalandra, the elven god of archery, from Selene, in our one shot. So that'll be cool too. So perfect connection that you have that Best of Dragon Volume 3. Is yours beat up, Leonard, like mine? I mean, I have like 5 of them, and they're all beat up.
Oh
really
yeah,
bad.
yeah. It's seen its better days, God knows.
Yeah, do I have one over here? I thought I had one over there, but I got a mess of a pile of stuff I bring up here for reference. But yeah, that's cool. I was just curious who you used Elven Wise deity that were Soul. So, but that's a neat question. Mike,
well, the elven deities, of course, aren't Soul, but you know, what can I say?
No, they're not. But you know, it's good to have the non-human deities. I agree 100% there. That's a definite thing. You got to have them because you can have some aspects, you know, with Alana, but you really need some of the, like, Coral Larthian has its place, you know, from the deities and demigods, and then all the extra ones. Like I said, Hanali's a good one. A lot of half-elves worship Hanali Selenol because of the love between the elven and human parent, right? That's kind of the theory behind that. It says it right in that magazine. So, Mike, on a final note on deities, what do you think? What's your favorites? What do you?
Well, after having gone through all those, I'm realizing that I didn't use hardly any of them. I think I do recall using Spittle. So, you know, for obvious reasons, I use the most. And I am happy that Encabulus is in there.
Yeah.
Put that in there because I always railed that he should be used more often.
He's nasty.
Oh yeah, and you need campaign world needs nasty gods. Several of them. Yeah.
So here's like a little bit of a mess on my part is because I used deities and demigods before. Leonard, you have this? Did you ever? I know you came up with your own, but were you ever tempted to use deities and demigods deities just because there wasn't anything else out there when you first started playing?
Well, yeah, because we used deities and demigods when we decided that the clerics had to be praying to somebody.
Right.
So you took deities and demigods, and we had people worshiping Egyptian gods and people worshiping Viking gods, and it just didn't work because it's earth on oath. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Now, I'm on page, where am I here? Page 57 of Devil's Pawn, which is either pronounced Devil's Pawn or Devil's
Spawn,
depending on how you read it.
Smart.
Which I done intentionally.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the High Priest of Falcon, and sure enough, he's got a longbow and a dagger. That's what he fights with. But then there's a 4th level cleric who fights with a +2 flail, and there's a 5th level cleric who fights with a hammer. So I did add in other weapons over and above but I did allow a priest to use a dagger.
Right, because those are standard
God
weapons.
used a dagger.
Yeah.
I had thought I had written up Volcon, but I just don't see it. I have to do more delving.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, seriously, to know what the thought process was behind it, and I just love the limitations placed on because it is a fairly powerful priesthood. It got some good spells and they got some good abilities. So having that limitation of in my world,
here's
just
the giant Falcon of Falcon.
They got all sorts of fun things there. So cool. Well, let us know on that. That's definitely next week's discussion is going to be interesting too. All right. So monsters in here in the next section. Someone already mentioned one of my two favorites. Do you have a favorite, Mike?
Of the monsters?
Yeah,
section?
the monsters. There's a lot of pictures in here.
Would believe that I got the most use out of sea zombies.
Oh yes, drowned ones.
I'd run a lot of coastal stuff.
The drowned ones. Let me get here.
Yeah.
There it is. So the drowned ones are self-willed and unturnable. That's nasty.
Yeah. Well, you kind of got Narrow's backing, I guess.
Yes.
Notice I have to leave.
Oh!
He's out.
Oh! Leonard had to go.
Yep.
I guess he got summoned for dinner, but hey, that was cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's 8:31. He usually only stayed at 8:25.
Yeah.
So he was having fun. So thank you for Leonard. Awesome, Gary. Awesome. We'll get to that. They're my two favorites. So the drowned ones. All right, it's a zombie with a lot of hit dice, right? Crazy amount of. I think it's 5. Now a normal zombie's got 2, right? That's nasty. I love this. Movement rate on land 6 and water's 12. Yeah. And they do 1d10 damage, and every time they hit you, you have a 10% chance of getting a severe blood disease. And they're unturnable. And they also stink like ghouls and ghasts. So you have to make a poison save or you're nauseated, -1 to hit. So it doesn't get much worse than that on a zombie. They're like the ultimate zombie. They're even better than Juju zombies. Not saying something. Because Juju zombies are nasty. Now, drowned ones from an adventure previous to being in the Greyhawk adventures.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I don't believe so, Will. I don't believe so. I think this is the first appearance of them, and then they appeared in a couple other things. They appeared in the Monster Compendium for 2nd edition. I know that, along with Lassels and a lot of other of my favorite ones. Animus, all those. Thassalos is in there. You know, a lot of people don't even know what a Varangoan or a Thassalos is in the I use monster category because that's where they appear, or I use the evil. So I think this is the first appearance, Will. Great question. I owe some people some shout outs here. So
there are several creatures in there that probably don't make any more appearances after this book.
Yeah.
But then there are some that, carry on.
Mm-hmm.
So Shieldlands is Bjorking me now. Gotta be kidding me. Yeah, it's not working. Good! Sorry, guys. I am shout outless right now. I can't. It won't do anything. That's crazy. Yeah, I can't do any. So let me just try one more thing.
What are you trying to do?
That little thing with buttons.
Yeah, my
his links.
My Stream Deck is linked in to Streamlabs. I'm going to try and exiting Streamlabs and then re-entering and see what that happens. Mm-hmm. So they're not in the Greyhawk. Yeah, they're not in the Greyhawk Online Wiki, Puppet. They really deserve to be in the Greyhawk Online Wiki. So maybe Gary loves them, or myself should enter them. They really deserve to be in there. I used them recently in an adventure in Hardby where I had the fog. It's on my front page. You can scroll down. You can see the line of the light of the fog coming, and then all the drowned ones come into Hardby. It was really cool. So just scroll down in the pictures, and they're down there. All right, let me try and reset this thing. So, Anna, do you have a favorite?
I must say that I'm very weak for the two cute monsters, the camp rat and the change cat.
Nice.
I like the, instead of having big evil baddies that will eat the party literally or something, but these kind of cute little monsters that cause mischief and confuse and adorable. So I kind of, they stick out to me. That kind of, I like them. Yeah.
Here's Christoph.
Well, now that you mentioned camp rats are actually on my old random encounter charts. They
really?
like the planes. And their camp rats have had so much time out there that somehow now there is a breed of camp rat called the blink camp rat.
Oh, that is awesome.
The
That's
blink camp rat.
completely my creation.
That's cool. So it's the blink camp rat. Yeah. So we need to get some. I agree. We need to get some. Nope. I got a big asterisk there. So great. Nothing's working.
I can think earthral camp rat that can kind of, shadowy camp rats will be kind of.
Well,
cool
actually,
too.
Casey, there might be displays for beasts and all. I don't know. A lot of monsters get captured and all and used in the pits to fight for sport. So the camp rats kind of have a better chance of multiplying.
Yeah, they are the size of horses. All right, so
Right.
I think Stolok mentioned this. I've done multiple. There's a laser. Thanks, man. 7 months. Getting close to that Michael Baton Gold Sword at 9, and the Flying Gold Sword at 12. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. All right. I love Sword Race. Love them. There's a cool picture in here too of the Sword Race all meeting around like a shield with bones on it, which is kind of a neat picture. They are really good to put up against a mid-level party as a leftover adventuring party or leftover, who knows, captain and his guard got waylaid or whatever, and they just won't die. There's the picture. They do strength drain. They have man, it's like rolling in. It's the beginning of the month. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, my monthly thing is Twitch Prime," So thanks, Casey. Sword Race. So hit die is decent, 7, and they can only be harmed by +2 or better weapons. That's freaking nasty. That's like Vampire Realm, right? And you can't turn them either. So once again, they're on page 31. Sword Race, Stark Mounds, Undead Spirits. I've used them almost anywhere. They're a great central point for haunting in an area. Whether it's a mounds or whether it's an old fortress or, dungeon setting, where they're planned underground or whatever, something happened. And there is an adventure card, if I recall, in the original box set. There's one that there's Sword Race within it. And I think that was the first sighting of the Sword Wraith. Now, Grunger, mention Grung and Beastmen are in here. Beastmen are in here. Good call, Christoph. They're in this book. There's no picture. The Beastman's the first monster in the book.
Yep.
And the Beastmen have a big prevalence in the Vespi Forest because there's an entire forested area of Beastmen.
Yep.
So depending on what time frame you're playing, their areas either larger or smaller.
Yeah,
and they're neutral with good tendencies. So you can ally with them, but you got to be, you have to have a reason for them. And the Order of Ulick headquarters up there, the Eagle's Nest, up there with like four knights in it, actually work assist the beastmen. It's in the beastmen forest, that keep. If you remember where we placed it originally, it's right in the beastmen forest. So
it's
I
one
love
of these
these.
areas that got smaller with the Ayus incursion, so to speak. They kind of took some of that territory.
Every time I hear Beastman, it makes me think of He-Man. Because Skeletor's main right-hand man was Beastman.
Yeah.
Gary, I did not know that. Is that an ancient Kiwish army from the days fighting with the Great Kingdom, or when was that? If you could, that would be good information. I really appreciate that. So, Greyhawk dragons are in here too. Now, Greyhawk dragons appear in the box set.
Yeah.
But this is gives you the stats on them for the first time. In depth in a published source that I can recall. I mean, it's not in a sidecar. It's not, a side note. It's in this one here. So we have one in Root Goose and no one knew it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that information. Well, guess what, Casey? You can talk about that in 2 weeks when you're on for BK Stories.
Mm-hmm.
With Susan Threadgill and who's someone else coming on too. Yep, absolutely. You can tell that story.
I have a nitpick question about Greyhawk dragons.
Go for it.
All right. The game terminology for them is Greyhawk dragon. I understand that. But in game, are they referred to as Greyhawk dragons?
No, my campaign, no.
Yeah, if there's one in Rookroost, isn't it a Bandit King dragon? I don't know. I'm just being silly.
I don't. Yeah, the way I've used them in my campaign is that they are Bahamut's secret envoys and spies in the human realm. Yeah.
Okay.
So they keep a more neutral profile, but they're So that's how I use them. They are dragons that, just like gold dragons and silver dragons, they have an altered. They have another form, so to speak, where there's elves or humans or a humanoid form. But the Greyhawk dragons have taken that normal. They don't have a side form. Their kind of main form is human, and they can go back between them.
Couldn't they called them urban dragons or something?
That's the thing I played with first. But for me, it was kind of more interesting where they come from and where they belong in the source of dragons. So it's a kind of dragon that is tied to, in a way I'd play them more like they're both like clerics of Bahamut in a way, specialty priest kind of, but they are also his eyes and ears in man's centers, so to speak, in the urban areas and courts and stuff like that around. So there are several of them around the Flannies. So Bahamut sends them out on mission to spy and gather intelligence and prepare operations and stuff like that. That's how I use them in my campaign.
Once again, my apologies to everyone. My shout outs are not working tonight, so I have to figure that one out. So I found funny was impatient Scott Casper's running around during the adventure we all played, and he missed the whole dialogue with Estrella when she turned into a dragon because he was off running trying to get in the front door, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that was so funny.
Yeah, and they call it the Greyhawk dragon is probably because the one in Greyhawk is the one that is most widely known to be a dragon. The other ones might be more kind of hidden and undercover still.
I think you have to call them something, and I think that makes them because they're not in Forgotten Realms, thank God, right?
they're
not in Dragonlands.
Yeah. So consensus in chat is they're still dragons.
Yeah,
but also cool.
Yeah, but also even if she's the cover is blown that it's a dragon, their mission and allegiance and true purpose might not be kind of known anyway, so to speak. So only half the truth is there, meaning that person is a dragon, but that's where the rest of it might not. But on the other hand, now I've told it here, so all my future players will know it. So that's my problem being on the show, spilling all my campaign insights that now I have to twist my campaign one step further here. So yeah.
I must have been a cruel dungeon master because I didn't really actively use Greg Dragons that much. Estrella is in my city.
Yeah.
I did ever interact with PCs? Nah. If I had a dragon that was going to pose, polymorph as a human, it's usually going to be like a red or gold dragon.
Yeah. But when I read about the Greyhawk dragon and that they're kind of lawful, big, strong, good tendencies, it was like, yes, that's the way I would do it if I were Bahamut. So I was like, okay, let's go with it. And so I kind of, because I thought it fit the story and that was written in the box set and here.
So
yeah, Mist Wolf is another one I love.
Christoph brings up a good point on these. Our Vespi Forest group actually got Mistwolf cubs, and there's like 3 of them, and they're companions to a lot of the druids that are trying to reclaim the defiled glades there. So
perfect.
Absolutely. And they
great setup.
They can do Wall of Fog.
Yep.
It's a cool 10% magic resistance. So they are inherently magical.
Yeah.
Right. And they have, it says they highly efficient predators with few natural enemies. So
well, they're smart and powerful and have some magic defenses and stuff. So I can understand as animal go, they will be on the top of the food chain in their area. So and that's another interesting thing that I'm now starting to pay a lot of attention to the last decade. So I'm starting to write ecosystem charts for various areas, meaning what is the top predator, what is it eating and stuff like that. Since we have things like dragons and all sorts of stuff that are effectively part of the ecosystem because they need to eat and they live there, and some of them are not, but other creatures that are magical or monstrous, whatever. So I want to kind of see how the actual ecosystem works when you have weird things coming from other planes and all sorts of stuff. So the Mist Wolf is one good example of that they're probably not that numerous, but and also they have a different alignment than the normal, that they might think ahead more and plan ahead and think about the bigger picture, not just eat whatever they can come across. If they have an alignment of lawful good, that means that they probably tend to the neighborhood in a way that other predators might not do.
They have an 8 to 10 intelligence, which in real life is higher than all my players. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but these things are interesting because here you have predators that can have culture and intelligence and stuff way more than any natural predator would have in our real world, so to speak.
Definitely, and once again, this book has a hodgepodge of different things that just don't. Just you're like, how did this get with that? And but there's great items to pull out of here.
Yeah. And a lot of good building blocks that you can put in your Greyhawk campaign and you can build on and expand on and add to. So yeah.
So I got one shout out done, and it was for it was the Greyhawk Online Discord. I'm sorry, the Greyhawk Con Discord, and then that was it. So Wizards sent a surge through my thing afterwards and said, no more.
Yep.
That's weird. That's just so weird. All right, the Hall of Heroes. This is mostly a repeat of what's in a lot of, with some changes, what's in the City of Greyhawk box set. And it just seems to be, except for the Valley of the Mage.
It is just Greyhawk stuff, most of it. And then there's a few others. They come.
Yeah, and the Scarlet Brotherhood. You're absolutely correct.
And Valley of the Mage. Yeah.
They're the new. That's the new stuff for most of the other. Tang the Horrific's in here. Carl of Ernst.
Carl of Ernst. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some. There's a cleric from the Horn Society in here too. I forget if this Juliana Mort is in the Grey. I think she's in the Free City Graph box set. I think she is, but I could be wrong.
Mortidus, yeah.
So you don't need to go to, like we talked to last on Gavin Sunday night. You don't need to go to that Valley of the Mage adventure to get the information on Jaren Crimea.
This is all you need.
Yeah, this is all you need, and he's only 19th level.
Yeah.
And Tislin Sand's in here as well. So
right, those are the only 2 you need.
That's it. You don't really need anything else, and it does have some information on his background, which is kind of neat, and how he became, how he did, and there's a lot of conjecture that it's not correct. But that's one story to it, and there's always different stories. So yeah, only 19th level. 19th level is pretty high. So
Turin, guess wish.
Yeah. So Turin Deathstalker's story is good in here. If you haven't read it, I don't recall it being in its entirety in the Free City Greyhawk box set. It was a lot small. I could be wrong, but I think it was a lot smaller. This is a good story about how he came up in the Horn Society. He was born in the Shieldlands, but then he got taken as a slave into the Horn Society. So Anna, that's a good bet. That's a good spot for you.
Yep, definitely. Yep.
And I always liked him. And the one thing I don't like about in this book, they get away from assassins completely. They say no more assassins. He's a fighter 15th in here. Whereas
wasn't that the case in second edition? They abolished the assassin.
Yes, they did. So I love the dual class fighter assassin that they had him as. I mean, just one of my main antitheses of my campaign, Makarash, the Elf Mauler, he was always a dual class fighter assassin going back to 1980. And I loved it. And they just pulled out it just feels wrong that you have people in the Assassin's Guild that aren't assassin class, but then again, you just make the change.
The assassin class to me was kind of a difficult one because that's basically what the fighter and rogue are doing in different ways. And then they added the assassin and they took away the combat mechanics and put in some okay, you have a certain amount of percentage of just killing the thing, and that's kind of not fair. It's perfect for NPCs murdering other NPCs. Then it works really well. You just put a percentage and see in the background and see if it happens. But as soon as the player characters are involved, then that mechanic doesn't work.
Well, you're going to get to play with an assassin in a couple of weeks, Anna.
Okay, yeah. If I can play one, that's okay. But
Joe Selby has a straight assassin in that group.
Oh, it's interesting because we had one back in forever, so long ago when we played first edition, and then I wasn't smart enough to realize that there were complications with it. But
chaotic neutral, the twinge of evil, gets along with Andy's. Guardian halfling. It's kind of an interesting group, and he failed miserably the one time, and he got the crap beat out of him at the very end when he was fighting the Guardian's niece, who turned out to be the evil antithesis there. So that's an assassin. But other than that, you can always change it back to the way you want it, and it's a good story. There's a lot of Nerf Gazgal and, Sentinel Nerf, Derrida Fashion. They're all in here from the city. They're in the City Greyhawk box set as well. I think it's kind of a repeat in this book, but that's okay. So, guys,
was the Greyhawk box set before this one?
Oh, way before this. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I thought.
The Greyhawk box set. Gosh, what year was that? 83? No. 80.
Well, yeah, that's early first edition. Yeah.
80. 87. It wasn't that long. It was 82. Was it a Greyhawk box set? I don't know if it was that early. I don't think it was. We went over this when we discussed it too, and I can't even remember.
Oh. But it was before this one.
So it was definitely before this one.
This is kind of additional information from the box set.
Guys, if you have any questions or comments, please put them in chat. We'll love to discuss it because we got a lot of content in here still. So anything on... go ahead, Mike. You look like you're thinking about personalities.
Christoph asked if Reno the Star was a PC. I don't know his backstory.
Oh, that's a great question.
But I don't know.
That's a good question. It feels like it would be because the story is so detailed and kind of under.
Yeah, there's some importance to the character that I don't understand.
And underhandedness, right? I don't know. I mean, that's a good question for someone who knew Gary.
There's an adventure later in this book where you rescue him, I believe.
Yes, there is. Absolutely.
So he's in the box set. So he was set up to be some integral character, but I don't know. He used to be a PC like some of your other named.
Now, here's the sad thing. From the ashes. Oh, he's dead. It says right in there, Reno the Star was found murdered, floating somewhere. Yeah, it says it right in there from the ashes. He's one of the ones that
Thanks for playing.
Yes. Another thing you don't have to implement. So, Ren and Stimpy, Greyhawk, Deities, Puppet, that's funny. All right, let's get in some meat here. Do you want to do the spells first or the magic items first?
We can do spells first.
Okay,
Spells
spells
first.
comes after in the next chapter.
Spells.
So, yep.
So
they have the big bees. I love that illustration on the first on page 51. Bigby when he stands in the door and have the hands pouring something. I love that one. It's so good.
There's a compilation in the back too of all these spells. Okay, it's a listing of all of them, including ones that are in the. Let me just make sure. Nope, these are all spells just in here. These are not spells that are in like the player's handbook. These are all. Nope, the Bigby's hand spells are not in here. So it's all the spells you can find in here. This is a good start to make a compilation based on the spellcaster. And you notice 4, right? There's 8 here. So there's the original circle of 8 is all here for the most part. So
yep.
Okay. My favorite spell. Let's open up Tensor. Okay. I love all the Tensor spells, but this is a first level spell. Tensor Steady Aim. Okay.
Oh.
First level. 1 turn per level duration. In my game with miniatures, guys, where we don't play 5e, you're going to see what the huge effect of this is. This spell will aid the moving archer or crossbowman with a steady shooting hand. No matter how fast the archer is moving or how unsteady his motion, the fighter will suffer no attack penalty. We allow full, say you have leather on, we allow full 12-inch movement and shooting, which is not a no-no in my rule system, right? It's only that 1-inch movement, no penalty, nothing. You can remove your full movement rate and shoot still with this spell on you. So it's a huge spell for us.
Tensor must have been a fighter wizard or something.
He was, yeah. He wanted to be a fighter.
Yeah, because so many of his spells are kind of fighting melee, whatever. That type of spells. Yeah,
absolutely.
He was down in them dungeons a lot, so he needed survivability. Yeah.
So that spell gets attempted to be researched a lot by fighter mages who like to use bow, a lot of half-elves and elven fighter mages. And, because is this a touch spell? This spell is 1 person fighters only. You can't cast this on a mage, so you have to cast on a fighter type. You can cast it on, if you're a mage, on someone else. It's not a self, but it has to be a fighter class, subclass. So just found an archive note Ren was used by warding Gygax's game with various. That's great, man. I'm glad you found that, Christoph, because I was wondering because the details of it is pretty much in depth, and that was a great observation. Anna or Mike, pick a spell, man.
I must, since I haven't studied them in detail forever, but I must say one that I just love is the very first one. Is the Bigby's Bookworm Bane. It's one of these kind of awesome utility spells for wizards that is so cool. I love these kind of things that add flavor to it. It's not all, but if I play a wizard or a sorcerer, I would love all the flashbang throwing dice of damage to the enemy, but these kind of utility spells that kind of add flavor to it are kind of fun too. So the Bigby Bookworm Bane is kind of awesome. Yeah,
it is. It's a good spell. Like if you have a library and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta make sure that I don't lose anything from that, and you put that spell in there. Definitely a utility spell, which is awesome.
It's interesting that Bigby, that is kind of the master of non-utility or kind of bang spell that he comes up with, but it's cool, and it's also a B spell, so it follows it's a.
Mike, do you got one?
Well, as to the spells in this book, this is where I explained that I was a tyrant to my players, and I never let them use their spells.
Oh, I would love to if my players into stuff like this.
Stickler that they had to learn these from, these were name spells, so you could only get it from them.
the way I handled the spells were that if the wizard, if you got it on a scroll or something, you could copy it, so to speak, fairly easy.
Yeah.
But if you research, if you've seen it being cast, and you make it fairly easy to
have
research.
the ones in the player handbook.
Yeah, and if they heard about that the spell is done and have some report, then it's more difficult. But if they just want to invent something that they never heard of and whatever, then that's the hardest, so to speak. And depending on level as well.
Having gone through this, there is one spell that apparently I did let them use, and this must have been when we were doing higher level stuff, and that was Rary's Telepathic Bond.
Yep, it's good.
Because with permanence, not permanence, with a wish spell, it's a life-long thing.
It's 5th level. Duration's 2 turns per level. You can forge a telepathic bond between 2 or more creatures with an intelligence of 6 or higher. The range is only 20 feet, but I think that's an initial, right? Or no, that's what's a bonus form. The creature can stay in contact only if they remain on the same plane. That's initial casting of the spell. So,
so when you cast the spell, they have to be within 20 feet from each other.
Yeah, it says specifically in here, though. You're right, Mike. A permanency does not have the power, which is 8th level spell, to make a telepathic bomb and lifelong link, but a wish does.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's
we use that.
Okay.
That's cool. That's
uber. That's uber because without that, it's only lasting 2 turns per level, right? And then so you had to have 18th level spellcaster doing that. All right, another one of mine. There's a lot of great Nistel spells in here. Nistel is one of the most. So we have a thing called a Greyhawk Mage, which is where they take named spells only. Okay, like 95% of their spells they have to be named spells. Now that could be other names that we bring into the campaign or whatever, and then they have to specialize in one of the 8 original circle because there's spells on them. I do add 1 or 2 others. Leomund's added but no one's taken one yet. So, but a couple others are added to have enough spells. So Nistel's one that a lot of people like, and Nistel's Blazing Beam. Okay, this is 2nd level. The range is 30 plus 10 per yards, but this Blazing Beam basically blinds creatures for 2d4 rounds, and they get -4 to hit and +4 in the armor class. But if you strike an undead creature, there's no save. It does 4d6, no save. Boom. So that's pretty nasty at that level against undead. Think about that. You only have to be a 3rd level mage to have that spell. And so that's a big one. Listel's Flash at 1st level as well. It's similar. It's a smaller daze where you can daze or blind them for 1 to 4 rounds, and that's a cool one too. I'm telling you, there's so many role play type spells in here, guys. If you haven't delved into them, you really need to. What exactly is the difference between Draw Mage's Beneficent Polymorph or Polymorphs in 1E? Let me. Okay, so good question. I think there's no. All right. So Draw Mage's Beneficent Polymorph is not in this book, Christoph. I don't think it is. Let me just make sure it's not.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yes, it is. It's
page
6.
56.
I apologize. All right. What it does, you do not need to make a system shock. I'm almost positive. No system shock. So Polymorph is normally 4th, and this is 6th. So you don't have to make a system shock roll. And while the first form taken is chosen, the creature is totally in control of its form, changes for the remainder of the spell's duration, and can change form as often as it wishes. So you don't stick in Polymorph Other, it's 1 change. And this spell, it's great question, Christoph. It's multiples.
A very powerful spell.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I thought it was going alphabetically in there. Yeah, it's 6th level, and you also, when you return your original form at the end, you gain 1d12 hit points.
It goes alphabetically, but it also
by level,
by level first, and then by alphabetically within the level.
It's pouring out here again. Christoph, man, we just so you know, I had a tornado warning about an hour ago. Right before I went on the show, I lost the internet once. I'm not sure if it's hitting you net down the shore. Hopefully you're okay, man. So it was pretty nasty. I thought we were gonna have to delay the show for a bit there. Yeah, that's a cool one that's 6. So is it worth 2 levels higher than a regular polymorph, or if you can change the different things?
I think when you can change, and when you don't have to do a system shock, and you can change basically at will, like at every round, I guess, then that's amazing. Yeah.
And it's 1 turn per level duration. That's a long time because you have to be 6th level, 12th level caster to cast it. 11th or 12th, 9th. It goes from 9th and then 11th, or it's either, I think it's 12th to cast that. So yeah, so that's lasting for 24 turns, which is 4 hours minimum. Good spell. Morning King has a lot of summoning spells. Everyone knows Morning Canaan's Hound, but there's Morning Canaan's Faithful Phantom Shield Maidens, Faithful Phantom Defenders, a lot of protection spells, like Morning Canaan's Protection from Slime.
Oh, yeah. And the Private Sanctum, yeah.
Morning Canaan's Defense against lycanthropes. So if Jay only had a fully stocked basement, yes. It's not stocked with food, Gary. It's stocked with terrain. I can't eat terrain, unfortunately.
And miniatures and books and stuff. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, very paranoid. So, I'm trying to think of 1 or 2 others we always use. I'm sorry there, Mike?
Disjunction.
Oh, yeah. Here comes one that Jay...
That's in Unearthed Arcana.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here's the story. I probably told it before. I apologize. Tim City Steak Adventure. Tim had a habit of giving us a lot of items, and we were probably like 10th level at the time. And he just is like, he's had enough. So he brought... We're all in a meeting at this table, and a little box, like a birthday gift, comes. It's wrapped in a bow, and it's all nice, and you get to, ooh, look at this. So I forget which character did it, but they pulled it out, opened it up, and poof, confetti went everywhere when we opened the box up, along with a Morning Canaan's Disjunction. Yeah, so every item we had to make a saving throw, and like some characters lost like 90% of their stuff because they're based on the level. So Morning Canaan's head shape. Tensor's Flaming Blade and Tensor's Dying Strength became basis for later spells in other editions. Well, the strength spell for Tensor is really, it probably may be, Christoph, it's not that great, because when you look at it, in comparison to the 2nd level strength spell, if I recall, here it is, Tensor's Giant Strength. Based on the Mage level, you automatically get a strength bonus. So it says Mage level 12th, you go to 1801. But if you have a fighter with 17 strength, and you are 3rd level and cast strength, you bump them up already up to 1840, 1850 or whatever with this. So this is a little different. The duration is actually less too. So than the standard strength spell. So
is it a caster on yourself spell?
No, it's person touched, both of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is an interesting point, but you noted that they went into later editions. That's a great observation as well. But the spell right below it, and the next 2 spells right below it are fantastic. So think about this. Tensor's Master of Arms. You're a multi-class fighter mage, and you cast this. We do this all the time. You get 1 melee weapon becomes, if you have proficiency... If you have no proficiency, you become proficient in the weapon of choice. If you have proficiency, you get specialization. So multi-class characters in my campaign can't specialize. So now say you have a 7th level fighter, he or she fights with a sword, you specialize in it with a spell. The spell duration's a turn per level. That's a nice couple big fights at the end of an adventure. Now, Tensor's Running Warrior, which is a butt below this, 4th level. There's boots of these in Return of the 8. And Bill's character Marcus got these, and it's kind of imbalancing in the game, but I'm never going to give them out again. But they do the same thing as the bow does with fighting. So it makes his movement rate now 15 inches with these kind of like boots of striding and springing. But he can do his movement rate, then attack. So he's like all over the place in a fight. He can run full movement, and with miniatures, it's really, then make his attack instead of doing that the way we do engagement and all. So I got to watch how things work with him. But that's that's in here. It's called Tensor's Running Warrior 4th level. Those boots are specifically in Return of the Eight in Tensor's. I think it's one of the Tensor's gifts to you for successfully bringing him back. But we use that a lot. So hey, fam, thanks, man. And I think that put us over. So that's for the new group, because we hit 4,000 at 100. Thanks, man. That's 4 special hero points now for tomorrow night. So to start this new group off for a new adventure. Any other questions before we get to the magic items on spells? Look through this book if you haven't. If you're a 5e person, Joe Block has converted all these to 5e. Look through them. Do not, I don't want to tell you what to do. Do not utilize these in your Greyhawk campaign. They add a ton of flavor. Even if you rarely give them out, if you give them out as a one-shot magic item or a wand that you can't recharge, get some, use this stuff. Mike Disney!
Hi, Mike.
Mike, I do a shout-out. My shout-out thing is broken, but everyone, Mike will be on Sunday night with Bill the Master Crafter, Brian Sublime, and myself for a great discussion on Gabbin. Mike, thanks for hopping in, man. No, hey, it's all right. I love to... I love to shout out everyone who comes on who streams. Everyone's a partner. Oh, fam, it's gonna be awesome. Yep. It's gonna be cool. Mike is here. Let me pop this up real quick. We'll do a shout out here for everyone. Here it is. Sunday night, guys. Miniatures of Terrain and Tabletop Play. Mike, Brian, Bill. We're going to talk about how to do it in our budget. We're going to talk about some tricks of the trade, some cool things with 3D printers. It's going to be an awesome interactive show on Sunday night for Gabbin. So I can't wait. I really can't wait. Mike's a fantastic guest. So yes. All right. So it's right here. Christoph, great point. I'm going to show it. Okay. I had this out for artifacts as well. Here it is. I have it right here because I was interested. I'll take the first page and pull it out here. There it is. This is a 3.5 version of the magic items in this book too. So now you have, if you're Living Greyhawk, you have this, or your Pathfinder, you have this. If you're old school like me, you have this book, and if you're 5th edition, you have Joe Block's. So you have almost the gamut covered for the magic items of Earth that we're going to discuss. And thank you for that point too, Christoph, on that. Should we make Gary wait? Let's make Gary wait for Spine Castle items. Pick one. Anna, Mike, pick one.
Oh, this is something I haven't studied much. Oh, you guys go first. And
Mike.
Yep. Yep.
Probably the item that got the most use for me was the Storm Rider of Xernet, which is a ship, magic ship.
Nice. What page was that on? That's miscellaneous, right?
Miscellaneous.
Storm Rider of the Xernet Sea. This large merchant ship, did you use this in the Sea Princes area?
No, this is, when it came out.
Oh,
so
that's
second
awesome.
edition. This is probably Wild Coast, Hardbeat stuff.
The vessel ignores the effects of all storms, sailing as if it is in brisk breeze at all times. Waves flatten out when the keel touches them. The value of this is 50,000 gold pieces. It's a merchant ship, so it's a cog? A sloop? Cog?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
All right, a sloop. Okay. Single mast then, right? Or dual? Do you remember what you had?
No,
the reason I ask is this. Mike Disney knows this too. Reaper has this miniature coming out that's like this, right? It's like, was it 2 feet long? The new Reaper ship that's coming out with Bones 5. It's freaking huge. I can't wait to get our hands on that. Oh my God, yeah, it is. I cannot wait. That thing is so awesome. Yeah, it's 36 inches long. It's 3 feet long.
Wow.
Yeah, I cannot wait. So, yeah, it's beautiful too. There's some pics on Reaper's site. Maybe we'll pull up a pic on that for Sunday as well. But I'm looking forward to it. I love ship combat. I have those Resonance ships by Arson Vale. Mike, I've never used this in my campaign. That's a great idea. Did they acquire it?
I'm not entirely sure nature of that, but I think I threw it in there because I knew we were going to be doing a lot of voyaging, and this just made things smoother.
That's awesome. So, something I've never used. You just hit the nail on the head on that. All right.
Yeah.
One of my favorites that I used, and it's got a lot of role play aspect to it. I think I put it down here, a picture of it. There's a picture in the book with it, and then there's a description. Is the Chalice of the Shieldlands. It fits perfect in the campaign. All right. Oh, there. I just went right by it. Shh. I always got to say shit. I always go right by stuff. Just here it is. Chalice of the Shieldlands. All right. Well, only the chalice itself is coming up, not the actual description. So the chalice allows, it says, was enchanted in response to the growing menace of the Horn Society. It allows a lawful good fighter to temporarily become a paladin of the same level for a single quest with all appropriate powers and abilities of a paladin.
That's huge.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So imagine you're an adventurer and you didn't have the charisma to become a paladin. And you're fighting in the Shieldlands against IUs, depending on what your campaign is. Or there it is. There's a picture right there of it. There we go. Okay. So we've used this. I allowed cavaliers as well that were lawful good to utilize this as well. So, because we have the cavalier, this is, of that era where we have paladins that are fighters and paladins that are cavaliers. And then you become a paladin, with that abilities for that quest. Until the failure of the quest will cause the chalice to shatter. So if you fail, then you ruin the item. So
Dang.
yes,
Yes,
it's a holy grail for Greyhawk. Yes,
it wouldn't last long. That chalice is gone in history. Then,
yeah, absolutely. So it is in the hands of jointly Daughter of Ulick and the Knights of Holy Shielding have this now. Okay, and it is actually at Durgam's Folly, Anna. That's where it's stored.
I'm kind of interested because my campaign I was simply assumed that someone got the quest and didn't manage to succeed, and then the thing was broke, and so there are the broken pieces somewhere. So maybe we can have a quest in my campaign to actually mend it again and make it function again.
Yeah, I recall us using it twice over a course of over 10, 15 years, and both times they were successful. Yeah. One was not against, you're going to love this. Casey, you're on if you're going to love this too. One was against IUs, one was against the mongrels of the Putrid Tongue.
Oh,
so yes.
So, and I don't see any limits on how many we can drink from it. Meaning, can we one per round, one per day, one per week, one?
I think one per quest is my
one
guess.
Per quest.
Yeah, and then
if it fails, then okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we've used it twice in the campaign, and it was located, and it's limited because how many lawful good fighters or cavaliers do you have in the campaign? A lot of people are cata good, neutral good, right?
Well, I see it not only for characters. I see it that's something that Shieldlands would have, and send people out to a way to kind of boost them for an important quest or something. So yeah,
it's a cool item. I love whoever made that. It's one of my favorite details in this book.
And it's not overpowering. Right. Meaning it doesn't go around and bash things constantly forever and in great mass. So yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
No, Stolark.
What's that?
Stolark asks, was there additional information about the Company of the Torch in Greyhawk Adventures?
No. All right. So the Fellowship of the Torch is in two references. It's in the box set and then the From the Ashes set. So Stolark, if you want more information on the Fellowship of the Torch, I will give you the information that's going on in my campaign. And if you want their heraldry shield, there it is, right there in the upper left-hand corner. So created. So let me know. Now that I'm making stuff that doesn't exist in the campaign for
You need
mine,
to have
I'm more than happy to share it.
Yeah, you need to have a site or somewhere where you can put stuff like that too.
I'm going to do an Earth Journal. I'm going to do an Earth Journal
Oh, cool.
about
Yeah.
heraldry for mercenary groups in Greyhawk or something.
Awesome. Yeah.
Upcoming, and some others, because I've created heraldry now as well for
you're
the Narwhal
prolific.
headhunters. Which why they don't have a symbol, I don't know. There's just Narwhal, the city, and but the headhunters have their own symbol now too. I've done that as well. So, you've unleashed the demon. Brian has with this. I'm having a blast with it. All right, you got another one, Mike or Anna. There's a whole bunch in here, man. We got to go over these, and there's no real artifact levers except for the Fire Wand of the Sullies, maybe artifact.
Yeah.
That's probably the one.
I will tell you the item that my players wanted, but I thought was too silly to give out, and that was the Razor Claws of Chagik.
Well, you thought to be Wolverine, right?
Right. I'm like, oh.
I've never given them out either, but they are pretty cool. They're under weapons, aren't they? They're not under miscellaneous, correct?
Weapon.
Yeah, they're under the weapons section.
Yeah.
So there is precedent for these. They're created by magics who are loyal to the Tiger Lord. So it's the Tiger Nomads, right?
Yep.
The Tiger Lord of the Northwest. They give +2 to hit. They do 1d6 +2, which is almost similar to a Footman's Mace, just one more point of damage. They don't require no proficiency. If you can, you get 2 attacks per round if your class doesn't already allow it. So God, I hate saying this, but there are these things similar to them with a priesthood that we ported over to the Master of the Wild Hunt for like a neutral, evilly aligned druids, and that's Malar in Sorry guys, I stole it. Malar in Forgotten Realms has the hunters that have these claws as well. So this is a kind of a cool item. You just never gave it out.
Yeah, I think they sound cool.
Monks could.
I would have them on an NPC.
Monks could have them, I think too.
Yeah,
because some editions monks use commas, right? Instead of using open hand, they use the comma, which I think is that 3rd edition, guys? So you got to pick up of the Wings of the Rakers. You ought to talk about those because flying is cool. Absolutely, because I had a picture of it too. Flying is super cool.
I'm pretty sure I didn't give that out either.
All right, I'm going to go over one other one here,
stuff.
and then we'll go over that. So this,
I have one that's kind of funny.
We'll definitely go over that.
The Paints of Blackboard. It's kind of some sort of war paint that you put on, and then you acquire
these.
Yeah,
Anna, I've given them out one time.
Yeah.
And they were utilized by the Crazy Bill, the No Just No Bill, okay? With Brother, you met this character, Anna, Brother Grigori, the crazy one, the Foltis guy. He has Paints of Blackboard, and there's a set, and each one is a class.
Yeah, exactly. You have the red one. You become a 7th level fighter, so you become a 7th level character of some class that is tied to the pigment of the paint.
He's especially priest of Foltis, so he's utilized these and pinch. There's Druid's green, Mage is blue, so he's utilized these as needed and changed himself to a class that they needed during an adventure. It's a cool item. You want to give them out like at that 4th, 5th level range. Don't give them out 1st level, guys.
No, that's
yeah.
And you get a 24-hour period, so you get a full day of use of it. So yeah.
Yes, he's now a lawful stupid NPC. But the Paints of Blackboard are a great role play item. They have a bit of power to them. One time in the whole course of the adventure, I'd given them out, but the player utilized them very smartly. And, in a pinch, you become a mage. Imagine that giving yourself a 7th. Are they all 7th level, Anna? Or some of the levels are different?
7th level, and then different.
Yeah.
So there's like fighter, cleric,
it's great
ranger, thief, paladin, and druid.
Yeah. Great item.
Yep.
Great one, Anna, to bring up. All right, here's one I love. You may see one of these in 3 weeks. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Uh-oh.
It's called the Amulet of the Cairn Hills.
Oh.
Okay. Originally created to protect the common folk from spirits that haunt these hills, this amulet has become a favorite among grave robbers. It allows a saving throw versus spells to avoid any special attack from undead, aging, energy drain, feat disease that you normally wouldn't get a save for. So if a specter drains you, you get a saving throw now if you're wearing this amulet. All right. Physical attacks and spells cast by undead are unaffected by the amulet. So the claw from a lich still does damage. A fireball from a spellcasting vampire still does damage, but the drain on a touch, or a paralyzation from a ghast or whatever. A successful saving throw against that drains 1 charge. Except the following: a 2-level energy drain from a vampire would drain 2 charges. Aging is 1 charge per 10 years. Say a ghost ages you for 40 years on a hit. This will absorb it with 4 charges. The amulet has 2 to 20 charges and cannot be recharged. Freaking great item.
Yeah.
Casey. So, the gold piece value is only 18,000. You can give these out anytime you're adventuring anywhere where there's undead. So it's up to you as a DM when you want to give this out. There's nothing to hurt against giving it out at first level. You want to use all the charges against, because you get saves versus paralyzation anyway. But like wraiths, wights, that's good against them because there's no save on them in the old. I'm talking old school now, guys. So shadows, there you go. So good. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it's a great item, Gary, for the Undead Hunter, which everyone will get to see when the Earth Journal comes out. That's my article I'll put in there. So thank you for that, Gary. Definitely. So that's the Force Attorneys. Oh, that's wrong, man. All right, let's talk about the wings. Mike, you want to go over the wings?
The wings.
Yeah, the wings. The wings of the Rakers.
You can't have them in my campaign. I was always against winged flying.
You didn't want to have characters that could fly around the world.
So you didn't give out brooms of flying either, then?
No, don't recall.
Well, all you need is an aerial predator, and they're not so keen on flying anymore. So that's the
Sure.
Yeah.
The picture though is great. It's a fantastic picture, right? I'll probably go right by it.
It is a nice picture.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's some neat illustrations and in here.
There's the
and I love on page 85 that looks like a wolf nomad or something. That illustration.
Yeah, the tiger cloak of the Chakik. That's the tiger cloak. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Classic.
Yep.
All right. So the cloak acts as wings of flying, except the wings of the Rakers take the appearance of white seagull wings. So a song from Bad Company's on in the background when you have these. So there you go. I'm showing my rock and roll knowledge here.
Yeah.
Good line wearer receives a +20 reaction bonus from the Aarakocra, but evil line wearers receive a -20 penalty. So, and the wing folk, the Alkarak Elam. There you go, Gary, if you use them. So, had a one who's summoned Shadow Summon. That's disgusting. Talk about terrifying.
Wow.
That is disgusting, but because, well, that's a lot, because if you're using the Shade spell or the Demi Shadow Magic spell when you're summoning those, man, that's a tough one to get because they're nasty. Sorry, Stolak, about that. Yeah, but yes, I love Badco. Badco was licensed by what rock and roll band that was on their label, right? They're on Swan Song, which was Led Zeppelin's. My favorite of all time. All right, some other good things in here. Here's some things not to give out.
Okay.
Okay?
Great advice. Yep.
Great advice not to give out. Do not give out a Fire Wand of the Sulwys, please.
Nope.
Okay? It says, this is probably the one artifact in here. It's on page 78. This one may have been the device that caused the destruction of the Sul Empire. Or it may be created
sound like something you should give to the players. Yeah.
Or it may be used to reproduce the events. You don't want that. So this summons fire, and the fire inflicts 5 points of damage per round, regardless of protections, until everything's. It's just nasty. Don't give that out. Don't do that. That's one you do not want to do. This one, I'm looking. Where's the
well, here's an interesting. That's Fire Wand of the Sulwys.
Yep.
it was the Backluners who did this, the fire.
Well, there was the Invoke Devastation, then the Rain of Colorless Fire. Who did what?
Yeah.
The Backluners did the fire.
So this is a
Invoke Devastation with the Sulwas against the Backluners, and then
It's
the
another
Ring of-
misnomer.
Yeah,
okay.
this should be the opposite. This should be Backlunish.
Someone
yeah.
messed up.
Yep. hmm
Well, hey,
That's good. So we have to correct that. That's a blog post, Mike. Please.
Yes,
blog
that's a
post,
good one. That's a good discussion
clarify
point.
that. Yep.
Here's
Clarify
another
that.
one you do not want to give out unless you want to have major problems in your campaign, and that's a Ring of the Promarge. All right. This black ring was created by wizards from the Wild Coast. Hating all inhabitants of the Promarge, used it to gather troops of goblins, ogres, or orcs. He led these into battle against other humanoids. The
used it a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah. Remember, look at the articles I was writing from Mars and stuff. I think the ring was involved.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The wearer of the ring decides which race he wishes to gather. Orcs XP divided by 1,000. So if you have 1,000,000 XP on your character, you could summon 1,000 orcs.
But you
Yeah,
know,
don't-
in
don't-
the Unearthed Arcana rules, barbarian hordes calling, I think, was just as bad.
Oh, it is.
Ah.
It is. But
Yep.
I don't worry about it that much in my campaign because they're going to come from thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's not because remember Alan's
But if you could make a ring that does that for humans, you see?
Yeah. I agree. That's my opinion. Don't give one out in the game unless you really want to have some problems. There's a couple other ones in here. Here's another
Exactly,
one.
Tershmont.
Yeah, this one is on the other side. The purple gem of the Vespi Forest, which actually is in the possession of a player character in my campaign right now, but they won't use it. So this magical gemstone has been used by the elven wizards who created it. The King of Furiundi, the non-vampire Thrommel, refuses to admit this gem's existence because he prefers that elven warriors join his own infantry, not form troops outside of his command. This gem allows a Sylvaner Elf to summon an elven army for a single declared purpose. This thing summons an entire army of elves. So It doesn't say how much, though. So there you go. Yeah. In addition to lesser members, the summoner will gain 7 aids, 2 mages, 2 clerics, 3 rangers, 1 to 3 levels lower than the user's level. So imagine if a 14th level character uses this, and they get 7 11th level aids, plus an entire army of elves. Yes. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. So there you go. I wouldn't give that one out, and you have it utilized. So there you go. It's another one. So, all right, Gary, we've made you wait long enough. Let's talk about the Amulet of Spine Castle, and then the.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, because Gary, one of these is not in this book. Gary, if you could note the reference for the ring as well, which I have it here because you can barely see it on the. All right. So the Amulet of Spine Castle. The wizards of the the kingdoms of Arity created this amulet to aid in the war against the northern barbarians. After the fall of Spine Castle, this amulet disappeared. Scholars assumed it didn't survive the wrath of the barbarians, but stories of the amulet's use still surface in the Bone March. Once per hour, this golden amulet can be commanded to radiate magical aura in a 30-foot radius for 1 turn. Has a negative effect on all barbarians, raising their superstitious fears and generating a hatred towards magic. So they get a saving throw, or they get minuses to their hit rolls because of the magical effects near them. So that's the Amulet of Spine Castle. And then there's...
So it makes them hate magic more?
Yes.
How's that helpful?
Well, I guess...
if you're a wizard wearing
it stuns them somehow. So,
Oh.
yeah. It gives them a little bit of a stunning, but yeah. That's what it says in here. Those of the 7th element save versus spells they're stunned for 1 round.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if they're lower, if they're 1st to 4th, they have to leave the area for 1 die, 8 turns.
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the yes. There's
That could
sitting on
disrupt
that.
the battle.
There's Farling, there's Celestian. We got a whole bunch of pictures. That's IU's up right now. All right, here's the key of Spine Castle. Gary, you're screwed. While I was waiting, I wrote 200 words on them. No spoilers. Okay. Well, here's the key of Spine Castle. Gary, will you please once again? I apologize. It was a few weeks ago. What Dragon magazine is this in? All right. If they want to go look this up, and the key is as befits an item created by a group of wizards led by the greatest mage in the history of the Great Kingdom. The key of Spine Castle is a legendary reputation. So. I forget what it does. Okay, so the key was presented as a gift, blah, blah, blah. All right, so to aid him in the defense of the city, Arity Mages believed the site upon which Spine Castle stood was a mystical crossroad overlying a place of magic that could be a boon and curse to the keep. So the key of Spine Castle was designed to watch over that trapped pool of energy, passively allowing the wearer to control it, or if sufficiently skilled, tap its power and shape it to powerful effect. So there you go. So yeah, they turned into Thunder. They turned the Thunder Barbarian on that. So a few in Spine Castle and beyond know of its existence and would give anything for it. So this must tap powers, right, Gary, and allow you to use energy to your effect to a positive ability, which is pretty cool. So this is in Dungeon. This is Dungeon 148. All right, the key of Spine Castle. So they're the two Spine Castle items. For Gary, one in the book here on page 79, the amulet, and then the key is in Dungeon 148, which is kind of a cool thing, too. Where are we time-wise? Look at that, man. Time just flies by. Mm-hmm. So a couple other items. Anything else you want to discuss? I mean, there's so many things in here.
Yeah, I can discuss something.
Go for it.
All right, one, there is no all item in there. Which only drove me.
There's no what item?
That's the biggest omission of the book.
Oh.
There's no all item.
Oh!
That's what drove me to create so many of them myself.
Well, that's cool.
This book was a glaring oversight, I felt. Some other countries got more than one.
Yeah.
But no, there is another item in here that I actually wrote about and expanded upon. That's the Tapestry of Ekber.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Mm-hmm. I did an article for Cannon Fire. Let's see. Can link it here. It's called the Tapestry of Ruin. You know, if you didn't want to attach a single country name to it. The Tapestry of Ruin. So this tapestry has some kind of gate-like powers, and the backstory of it is the rulers of Ekber, Ked, or wherever would send prisoners through this tapestry. You know, kind of like a phantom zone.
Nice. And that basically that was where they placed them, or that's where they banished them to? Just
banished.
Okay.
You know, another plane.
So to enter the prime material, the water rushes out from the tapestry and forms a pretty deep river. It flows 50 feet before vanishing back into the plane it normally occupies. So the river exists in the prime material for 3 turns. So basically, you're putting them in another alternate prime material somewhere.
Oh.
It's kind of Star Trek-ish thing. That's cool. The water is brackish and evil, swelling the current. You have to make a strength check or be swept along with the water. So I guess this was like the third Batman movie where they banished them. You had to walk on the ice, and you just knew it wasn't going to be good. And they put you in here, you know it. You're going somewhere else. Did you ever decide where they were going?
No, I never really designated.
Okay.
Actually, the article might actually say. I think it maybe is a certain plane, like a lower plane.
Thessalodorian says he specifically remembers that and said it was chilling. That's awesome.
Yeah. And in my article, I even include some of the villains from my campaign that have been deposited in the tapestry.
So this is the humane way of getting rid of them. You push them off on someone else's world.
Yeah.
So you wonder how. What's that?
I mean, in a world where you can resurrect and reincarnate
I understand
people,
that.
You say.
You never ever leave any, right? The paranoid people never leave even the tobacco bag left, right? Because you can resurrect anything from a piece.
Enlightened. It's an enlightened Right.
So that answers a rhetorical question of mine. How do non-prime material people, things that shouldn't be here, get here? Well, couldn't there be something in reverse? Couldn't there be another one of these from another land that they flow them into our prime material, right? Maybe that's how Rennie got here.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So pretty
Definitely.
cool. I'm glad you utilize stuff, which is great. All right, here's another big one in my campaign. I actually gave out a modified version of this at the end of last Thursday's adventure. The Collar of Tusmet. It's a huge item for us with critical hits. The adamantite neck shield was enchanted by a wizard who bore an unnatural fear of decapitation. He wore it until his death, though the collar gave no protection against magical spells that killed him. The collar offers no armor class bonus, but provides immunity from decapitation, especially from vorpal weapons. So you can get decapitated from a critical hit in our game.
That's a great item.
Yeah. So, Alexis Winchester has this, who would adventure the last 2 weeks. One of the she has a Collar of Tusmet on. Right,
and I think the other interesting thing of it, going back to my tapestry thing, is execution. Dealing with criminals. So what if you have the beheading type situation, and your character, slyly has his collar on?
Guess it's GT. Well,
yeah.
I think someone want to take that. Yeah. Someone emptied a Rennie trash on Earth. See, look, there goes Gary. I got it started there with that discussion. Has there any been descriptions for ROP? RHOP. Rennie, what?
No, I don't think so.
No.
The quick, dirty way would just it's one of the alternate words. And if you really want to save time, just say they're from Ravenloft.
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a smart one. That's definitely a smart one. All right, I'm just going to scan through these real quick and see if I got any others that I know. All right, this is the biggest. This item, I kind of regret I gave this out. But what specialty priests? There's one class that is the best at healing because they get median healing. Welby Bumpus, which is Ron Lundine's halfling, who he unfortunately won't be there on the 20th. He's the one that Anna's taking place, is a priest of Palor. And Palor gets at least median healing on their spells. This is the healing cap of Valuna. Listen to this. The small cloth cap was enchanted to help clerics of Valuna heal the dying. When worn by a cleric, it doubles the number of hit points restored by any of the various cure wound spells. So a cure critical now, it's 3d8 plus 3 and double that. Now, here's my dilemma. It says cure wound spells. I want a judgment for all of you. I allow Healing Circle and Greater Healing Circle in my game for specialty priests at 4th level. Well, Bill, whose characters has this, says, well, this should apply. It's all healing spells. I say it's all cure wound spells. But I lost that argument with my players. So when he does Healing Circle, it's die 8 plus level to everyone in that Healing Circle, then double that with that healing cap of Valuna on. See, look at Casey's like, yes, all cure spells. You mean all cure wound spells or all curing spells, period? That's the question. So on that one, yeah. That's called, I got trapped by my own generosity. So she's by far the best healer in the entire game. With that item. So shields. The Theronian Shield of Berserking's cool. There is the Rel Astron's Sword of Enmity, I believe, is in here too, isn't it? It's called something else. Equalizer of Grand March. Isn't that the same one? Nope, that's two different ones. My apologies. That's my apologies. So which one does the guy owning the Green Dragon have? He has the Equalizer, right? I always forget. So, I think, but I vote all curing spells. I think that's like 5 EJ. Well, that's a tough call. No, it won't be. No, it won't be, Josh. Good question. All right. Does anyone else have questions or want to bring up any items in here that we didn't discuss? There's so many of them. This book is, if you can't find it in hard, you should be able to find it for $20 in hardback, I think.
And yeah, and you can get it in PDF too from Drive-Thru RPG. So,
yes, you can get it in PDF as well. You can get the 3.5 edition of the spells, and if you can't find it and you really want it, someone will help you direct. I forget where I got this, but this is by Rick Miller. I'm sure if we go on the Cannon Fire Discord, Rick will direct us to where it can be found. Okay.
Isn't that an Earth Journal early edition or something? I don't know.
This?
No, it's not.
It's the magical item compendium that's in here for 3.5. Okay. He converted. Plus, Wave and Whelm and all those others are in here too. He did a whole bunch of stuff that are from modules as well. It's a great, I've had this for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. I forget where I got it before I knew all of you. Yeah, and Black Arrow Values, yes. Let's talk about that one, Gary. And then the fifth, if you want 5th edition of the items in here, you go to Joe Blocks. You're covered. All editions are covered that you can find stuff here. The Black Arrow Values I've given out a couple, actually one or two times. It reappears in your quiver every day. It is, I like these evil items to be utilized for good occasionally. So it's under weapons, right? Weapons. Carved from the bone of a black dragon, this enchanted arrow strikes a +3 to hit and damage. The arrow reappears in the owner's quiver each dawn. This item is permanently lost to a special attack form. Once per day, an archer can call its deadly powers, causing the target to save versus death, magic, or die. And they got a hit. Go to line characters save at -2. It's pretty nasty. Yeah. So, but note this: if you have an evil archer or an evil person of IUs or whoever using that, and they lose, that's going to the other side. It doesn't say that good characters can't use it. So just note that you got to be a little careful with certain items you give to the bad guys, because if the good guys get them, then they're going to utilize them just as well. So called Death Shot, save or die. It's a death magic save, which is not as nasty as a magic save in 1E2E. I'm not sure if there's a difference in 5th edition, but
it'll be Fortitude save, I think.
Yeah. One more item, because it's Shieldlands, Anna, and you'll like this. Jelaine Chaucer. She's an NPC. She's a Cavalier. She's the second in command of the Order of Ulick in the Shieldlands. She's the one that was in love with David Gradavis and is really upset that he ended up getting married to someone else, and she's all moody now. The Warlord Blade of the Shieldlands. I'm sorry, Railstone. My bad. This magical broadsword +2 increases its possessor's leadership ability in combat. Thus, a commander's charisma is considered to be 18, giving a +2 morale modifier to troops. The sword also doubles his or her command radius and gives her troops a +2 discipline modifier. It's kind of a role play based item. But it's a prestige item to have if you have the Warlord Blade of Shieldlands and in the Shieldlands, right? So it's kind of a cool item to have there too. So we've gone over a lot already. Look at this. Plus we had Leonard. So Mike, what do you got you want to discuss that's still in here? I mean, there's
magic items
or adventures or whatever else as we coming up to an end. Whatever you want. Right. Whatever you'd like to discuss.
Okay, so the section on geography.
Yep, great. We didn't even get to that.
There's a lot of lore in there. I can't even just single one out, except that this is the section that you can spend the most time reading on and forming campaigns around.
Yeah, this is the long form entry that
I have an idea.
Entry is like a page or two sometimes. So
let's do a Legends and Lore on special geography locations of Earth and do this whole section. And we do this whole section and do other places too that we know of. Like see, I'm not that good on. It would be a good education for me. Like the thing far in the northeast. What is that?
Tyronian Peninsula.
The one, no, way in the northeast near Rotic. It's out there. Like it's a special place. Oh my God! See, I'm sure.
Oh, the Isle of Lost Souls.
Yes, I don't know anything about it because I don't use the side of the map.
That's where they cut the malachite, the rock for the malachite throne.
I don't know any of that.
And it's a very evil aligned place where they took a lot of they carved out and found a lot of the artifacts for the Naelixes and earlier on too for the Rossies. It was kind of seems to be kind of now I'm speeding off here a little bit, so this is my interpretation. Like it was sort of set off as a reserve for digging out magical the material for magical artifacts and stuff for the royals of the Overkings and so on, and then apparently it was a cursed area full of evil intentions and whatnot. So that was kind of
We could do an entire episode on the Burning Cliffs, all this, right? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Right now we have nothing scheduled for the week after the Living Greyhawk. We'll do this on the 24th.
That will be a little bit of my specialty.
Yeah, and then I can talk a lot less on that one.
And then you have the Causeway of Fiends. Is that the connection between the Isle of Lost Souls that comes in?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mysterious Places. It's actually a feature on my blog. I do occasionally I do a thing called Mysterious Places from the Fringe.
Beautiful.
Cool. Yep.
So I'll say the least that during that one for a change. So that's good. We'll do that, guys, on the 24th. Sound good? Awesome. I like it. Unless we get a special guest, unless Eric Mona is coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. You never know. There's some adventures in here. There's stuff on 0 level characters in the appendix, which is neat if you like doing that.
I never liked the 0 level stuff back when that book came out. Never used it.
I haven't used this version. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
But no, I was going to say later on in like 3rd edition, 5th edition, I've inadvertently created my own 0 level systems.
That's what I did too.
Without going back and referencing this, I'm realizing.
Yeah, I looked at this, but I didn't get to use it until we got to 3rd edition. That's when I invented my own 0 level adventure, and then I kind of ported it to Pathfinder 1st edition, and now I'm going to port it into Pathfinder 2nd edition.
I think I'm a little wiser and more mature, and I think I can make this work now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I had and in Pathfinder, I kind of refined it because they had tiers. They had divine tiers. They had epic tiers. So I kind of, and then someone wrote kind of what they called, what was it? They call it kind of something for something we should mention here, so as a funny way. But then I saw it, that's a good idea. So I made them into beginners tiers. So you have beginners tiers before you get a level, and then you can have epic tiers if you want to race beyond your level, so to speak. And then I invented divine tiers for the creatures that becomes divine and move into it, so to speak. But that was never something I intended for characters, the divine tiers, at all. That was something that I wanted to figure out what different divine beings and how something could become divine or someone, but that was not something for players. But beginners tiers was really cool. We had some great adventures, especially in the Pathfinder era when we started out with 0 level. It was a lot of fun.
Very cool, guys. Thank you all. The recent. I'm trying to figure out here how to. Here we go. I got it. I'm going to do a manual one here because my invite's working.
Oh yeah, there's even Oriental characters on one at the end here.
And Oriental Adventures came out around the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this came out before the Oriental Adventures, I think, because I think Oriental Adventures came out afterwards. I think, but I might be wrong. But I think
which only emphasizes to me that Oriental Adventures was intended to be in World of Greyhawk.
Yes, that might be. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gary has linked Post-Fest 2 on Cannon Fire. A bunch of fans did some amazing mysterious places for Greyhawk. We need to delve into that.
Oh, cool.
As well. Mm-hmm. Gary, is there an expert that we could bring on the show besides you, of course? Or you, but is there someone who would you think would enjoy coming on the show that would help discuss some of those? Let us know, and we'd be more than happy to have them on the 24th. That would be fantastic.
Post-Fest 2.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Including Mike, the Altar of Dwahar.
Oh yes, Host Fest 2. Right now, I would be that expert.
Oh,
Jay.
Okay, great.
Yeah, exactly, Mike. You're on already. I was going to say
That's
that rings a bell. I think you posted
that's
a
my
lot for
first
Post Fest.
article for Cannon Fire, I think.
Oh,
Really?
cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and back then they didn't late in later ones, but back then they did votes on which is the best, and I won.
Oh, nice.
See, we have the expert. Yep. Now we just need Gary. Then we have 2 experts here. So yeah.
That was a manual, guys. There's the if you're not in guys, it's not gonna be a lot of activity, but it's up. The virtual Greyhawk Con Discord is up, and we're going to try to get it ready. If you're, that's not until October, but if you want to just hop in now, that's more than you're more than welcome. We're getting there. That just so you know, this is serious. So there you go on that. I programmed that shout out in and everything, and it's just like I'm screwed on it this time. So great discussion tonight. We got a lot of detail. I love this book. I know Jason hates his book, but that's okay because I love this book.
I don't definitely. I like it too. I really like it. There's so much cool lore and stuff in here. And,
well, you see,
yeah.
The thing is, I liked it as a source book of lore. I did divvy out a lot of the magic items, but all in all, it was off limits to my players. I didn't let them use the spells. I didn't let them use the 0 level.
Well, the spells I put in there, but no the clerics. Magic items I didn't delve into much. But some of the monsters, lots of the lore and
monsters, yeah. So it's more for me. It was more of a DM source than a player's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely aimed for DMs and not for players.
Jason, man, take the spells, guys. Whether you're 5e, whether you're use the spells. I love the role play aspect of a lot of them. There aren't mass damage, but
and every wizard needs the bookworm protection. So
just to have fun with it. There's. Good, because Phantom's using 5e and he's pulling right from Joe Block, so he's utilizing all Joe Block's 5e stuff, which is free right from there, which is great to see, and I bet you it makes Joe very happy. So, Mike, you want to do you're right? You want to do a shout out first here? What do you got going on?
Just still plugging away at my blog. If you go on there, my latest little quick post is on old Greyhawk ads from Dragon Magazine. I don't know. I feel nostalgic sometimes, so I'll go through them old magazines and look for anything that brings back some memories of stuff I overlooked.
Nice. Greyhawk ads.
So, fun stuff.
It's awesome. I know, like, the wars were like, man, that was so nostalgic, and everyone loved that discussion, man. The old, it's amazing the memories that come back. Like Mike, I don't know if you're the same way with your friends, but like my guys just love reminiscing about it. Man, you remember when we did that trip down to Fairfax, Virginia, and we finished Temple of Elemental Evil, and they discussed what happened there, And I imagine you may get the same thing with your group with the wars.
The wars was mainly 2 of my oldest friends that are still remaining.
Yeah.
A lot of the other people I game with were like 3rd edition on. And those younger players, I would call them, are, they still banter about campaigns all the time.
That is awesome. That's part of the playing the game, guys, is just the camaraderie and the friendship. So, we're almost done. Anna, what do you got going on, Anna?
I'm still in creating the Atlas land, getting that out, and I talked about that briefly last week. We made a first kind of mock-up of a test page and did the research on, and we figure out that on some of the map spreads have more than about 500 or more than 400, close to 500 references, and there is no chance, even if we make it like too small so you can't read it, kind of so we can't have the references to all the settlements and stuff on each page. That will not work because there's way too many. And so we will expand and make each map on the map spread bigger, and then the master index will be where all the references will be. And now I did a quick calculation. We're up towards the 30,000 mark when it comes to the references. So it's a hell of a lot of work that needs to go into Excel, and we kind of started already. And figured out what because there's a lot of things, meaning should, for instance, countries, should they be listed under name, or should the Kingdom of Furyundi, that should should be listed under F and not under K, or and also what should be listed under the or not, so to speak. And there's a bunch of small considerations like that. So we're in the way of me and some of awesome people that are helping me with this. And so by the end of the week, I hope that I can have the latest concept, or the kind of example page, and we can have some example entries for the index, and some ideas of what the appendixes and extra maps and stuff that I want to have in there. So, and we're still shooting for roughly about 100 pages all in all.
Wow.
That will be, and the master index will also be available as an Excel spreadsheet once this is done too, which would be great if you want to enter into a database or something like that. So it's going to be, I think it will be one of these kind of very useful reference works on Greyhawk going forward. And it's primarily was like George, one of my patrons, and he's one of these, like Jay and me and Mike, who played in Greyhawk way too long. And this Atlas is primarily not for us. It's mostly for people who haven't played that much, who wants to easy reference. And if someone said a village so and so, or where do I find this weird city somewhere, or a river, or whatever. So it's a way to find things for those of you who are not so. Of course, anyone will probably find it useful who is a Greyhawk fan, but especially the ones as an intro tool into the geography of the Flannies and world of Greyhawk. I think it could be really, really useful for. And it's also a stopgap moving into the GIS software, because once we have it set up and entered into a database, we can do a lot of updates and stuff on this type of product much easier, so to speak. So hopefully they could be like a yearly revision of this going forward in a couple of years time, when we have a GIS tool set for this, and they can be different styles and stuff and formats and stuff. So now it's a one-shot deal to kind of get the ball rolling for the future, and get me some room to work on upgrading and migrating the technology into the realm of GIS and stuff. So it will be some months, but I'm still hopeful that the first map can be done in a couple of weeks, and then we can move on from there and start producing in like 3-4 weeks. So this summer they will start coming out, and once we have it up and running, I think then it can go fairly quickly. We can have at least 2, maybe even 3 maps done per week once it's up and running. So yeah. So it can be done before the end of the year. That's the goal, to have it done. Hopefully, if we really can put an effort into this, it might be able to do it by GreyhawkCon. It would be kind of cool to have it presented in full. But the good thing with this one is we don't have to. You guys don't have to wait for all the pages to be done before you can see it. So because one of the key thing is here to get the first ones out early, so you can spot the problems and so on and so forth. So we can kind of revise the things and fix some of the issues before we produce all of them and show it, and then someone tell us, oh, why the hell didn't you think about that? So that kind of thing is very important, because this is going to be primarily this product is not for me to use primarily. It's for a lot of others to use, and we want to introduce a list of all the modules, and the module locations on this one is one of the key features for this that has been asked forever, to where's all the different modules, and you can find them. So they will be in the index as well, as many as we can. So that's why we also need to present the index and stuff as we build it, so people can put in their point and say we missed this, and so on and so forth. So yep.
So Anna,
that's the main. Yep.
Go over what you did for myself and Blue Box for.
Oh yes, yeah, we did. Yeah, because I did last year. I did a special edition of the 598 or 96 map, or 98, wherever that was. The old map. I did a special version of it for Jay for his campaign, and then we realized that when I'd done the 576 map, that Jake's campaign is much closer to the 576. So we sat down, like 4 or 5 hours a couple of weeks ago, or like last week, and
it was last Friday.
Yeah, last Friday, and sat down and did the revision. Took a day off and just updated a couple of 100 locations and stuff like that. Added heraldry and a whole bunch of stuff, and also got so Jay got his campaign logo and stuff up on the left. And Blue Box RPG, he wants to run using Jay's map and his campaign as the basis for Blue Box upcoming Greyhawk Awakening campaign. So I did a copy of Jay's map and added and changed to put his logo and stuff in there. So now Blue Box RPG also has a special version of the map that they can fork in whatever direction John and his team at Blue Box RPG want to take their campaign. So yeah.
And we will talk about that in 1 second.
Yep.
Because it's coming up in a few days. So Anna, thanks. I mean, it's great. And then you got your other stuff you got to work on again next week because they're not done, right?
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. There was some additional stuff. Yeah, this is never over. And now when we move into the Atlas, I've already found probably about 40 items or something like that to be fixed. So the Atlas will actually be on the 576, a new revision of the map that is updated even beyond the other one. So after the Atlas comes out, there will be a new revision of the map because there's so many items that needs to be fixed.
Mike, it's never over. Like I thought I caught everything. I went over and the minute we're done, there's 3 things I missed.
I've gone over it map every time now for 5 years since it was done, and I still find like 100 items just looking at it again. So yeah,
it always happens. All right. You may have seen some of the pictures out. I posted them out today, but tomorrow night, a new adventure, number 880. Incident at Junction Blockhouse, which is in the Principality of Ulick and on the map now. And the first Ulick Pathfinders with our new heraldic symbol that Build-A-Master Crafter asked me to make up to his specifications, and I did. They are the group that you can have neutrals in. They're an affiliate of the Order of Ulick, and it's there's a lot of conscripts, including the great Fritz Winchester in this group of vagabonds that will be sent to the Junction Blockhouse. And the storyline behind that is supposedly there's a dragon that's been sighted, and these guys are only 4th and 5th level, so I get scared of shit out of them tomorrow night. I can't wait. So that's tomorrow night to start. It'll be a 2-weeker, and that'll start us off on Thursday. Then we have another Saturday night special, 2 weeks in a row. This is huge, everyone. This is an introduction to Greyhawk Hamlet. Now, I am DMing for the cast of Blue Box. It's going to be playing in their campaign on the 9th, Tuesday. This is the 6th Saturday night, 7 p.m. My Style 1E, 2E, these brand new characters, including John himself will have one. So there'll be a party of 6 plus 1 NPC. They're not doing Hamlet. We're not doing Village of Hamlet. I'm starting them at the end of the Welcome Wench and Hamlet, and then running some little sidebars that for me, okay? And then then John will take off and continue his campaign. This is on Tuesday the 9th. So this is a new Greyhawk addition to the family, guys, and it's taken a while. We have 4 channels now that really stream Greyhawk. Myself, Will, Carlos, and now John at Blue Box. So we're trying to get more. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait. Plus, he's giving away on Tuesday night, and I told him you got to make everyone watch the entire stream somehow. We got a massive audience. A 1983 boxed glossography set in almost perfect condition. Okay? Yes, that's going to be the giveaway item on Tuesday night. So you're all crazy if you don't watch this. Plus, then you got Will's event afterward, his weekly Greyhawk game. So now we have a Tuesday night Greyhawk double header every week. Okay, because this will go from 6 to 9 Eastern time. And then Will picks up on his great game 9 on. Great Greyhawk doubleheader Tuesday night. So we'll start this off. I will DM for them on Saturday. Okay? I will have a lot of Hamlet on the map, but me being by myself, I can't have the entire Hamlet on the map like I'd love to, but I'm gonna have some of the places of well known on the map. There'll be some old personalities there that you remember from the village of Hamlet, and then it's going to be a very basic, brand new 0 experience first level characters. So I got to go easy on them here. So yes, well that's good, Phantom, because they have. Think about this: when you start a new character off, no experience, you have no regular hero points. None of them have hero points. So if you guys want to help them out, be my guest on that Saturday night. Absolutely. They'll get, plus I haven't even talked to them about what critical hits do yet. So it'll be fun. All right. I showed Sunday. Mike, this is going to be an awesome discussion. Mike Disney, Brian Sublime, and Bill the Master Crafter all on miniatures and terrain and tabletop play. We're going to talk about the tricks and the trades these guys do. Bill makes stuff out of household items, guys. It's so amazing. And does some great things with it on a budget. This will help you do that, because we know, and I'm not bashing anyone, a nice miniature building authority building is $110, right? Come on, there's things. Metal figures are no longer cheap. They're not cheap anymore. They got bones figures and stuff, and they got ways to. I'm gonna show you some of the tricks I use to get plastic figures. I have and Annecy, I'm a bot and Christoph. I have boxes and boxes of plastic figures I use all the time. So we're gonna go over that. I think it's gonna be a great night of discussion on the crafting aspect of the game. So please join us for that. All right, now I already got some stuff going next week. Ta-da! Era. Jason, Era Gygaxian. Okay. Jason, do you like that if you're on still? All right. So 28. Good. Keep them, Gary, for Saturday night. They'll appreciate it. Keep that's by the time you get to 30, you have 3 regular hero points you can give them. So keep that, man. Help them out on Saturday night. They'd really appreciate it. All right. This is why Anna made the 576 map. So Gygaxian can be before that map too. So we're gonna talk before pre-wars. All right. So this is going to be all talk about the Gygaxian area, places, people, whatever you want to talk about in there, we're going to talk about. I think it's a really cool discussion point, and we'll have Jason join us, right, because he's the Gord expert. So there'll be a lot of references in that. So that is next. Going strong. See, man? See, Jason? There you go. I got your back. All right. The week after, Living Greyhawk BK stories. Okay, we'll have Casey back on. We'll have Susan Threadgill and Britt on for that one, and that'll be Wednesday, June 17th.
That would be crazy. Yep.
Yes, it will be. I've reached out to the gentleman on Greyhawk Online Discord, Pierre from Ekbeer, and so did Casey, but he really didn't respond to us. If anyone knows him and is friends with him, please, we'd love to get the Ekbeer on. All right, as we tried. So, yes, we're going to ask Britt about his thoughts on IP as well. That's a great point, because Britt Casey's telling me Britt really helped him with his cease and desist, getting it removed with what he helped him out with on that. So that, and then lastly, Saturday, June 20th. Here we go. A very simple request. Bishop, thanks. A very simple request. We have, there's the whole crew that's playing in this game. Bill the Master Crafter will be on, because his PC is actually going to be sent from the Iron Brigade. Salen Shadowmoon is going to be sending him on this mission. So he'll be on at the beginning, role-playing his character, who's going to be sending them on the mission, and they're paranoid already, so I can't wait. I can't wait to really have fun with this on there. So, yeah, the return of Garn, and you'll also see Imri, Cyril, and his Ranger Mage will be on, so we'll have a lot of fun with that. So we're chock full of stuff coming up. So, yeah, SVU, BK Stories, you got it, Gary. So hopefully you all had fun tonight. I did. I had a blast. I loved this book. Got a lot of great stuff going on now. There it is. Virtual Greyhawk Con is a reality. Whether we call it this or call it Hacktoberfest, we'll see.
Thank you, Casey. Yep.
Yes.
Me too. I love to partner up with Garn. That would be awesome.
Yes, it will be a 6th level Garn.
Yep.
Casey thinks he should have made 7th level after that one-shot adventure, and I told him no. It's not even close.
Oh,
so
you
mark
tough. Yeah.
Mark down October 2nd through the 4th. No matter what we call it, it's happening, everyone.
Yeah.
We already have commitments to DM, okay, including me, Will, Frank from Nightheart Gaming, Jimmy Duffy from Praetor's Rejects, Carlos Lysing, Skagith DMing, Phantom, you're going to DM, Casey's DMing. We already got all, dude, I mean, come on, this is going to be awesome. We already have, yes, Casey, you mean 99%? Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a blast. So, yes, we're drinking Greyhawk warm beer, maybe. I want to say Virtual Greyhawk Con as much. Well, I'm going to wait till Friday. If I don't get a response from them, I'm just running with it and damn the torpedoes at that point. I'm giving them till Friday to respond. So we'll see. And then we'll make a final decision on that over the weekend. So, guys, thank you. Mike, thank you. Anna, thank you. Len, thank you for showing up again.
Yeah.
Just out of the blue. It's always a blast.
Hosting this as usual. It's
awesome. This was a great time. So, please, everyone, keep the faith in there. By the way, you picked up Trouble at Durbanford. I told you, man. I love Bishop. Yeah, I'll recommend stuff from our Sunday night show. And you probably got it cheap. It's great. It's really good. I put it in grammar. It's one of the 3 things I forgot to put on the map is Durbanford. I put it in the Grand March, so I have to put that up next time. Thanks, Pupic. All right. Let's. I'm going to go to something different. 10 seconds. Who are we going to raid tonight? I got to take a look. I should have done that. I should have planned. I didn't plan well. All right. I have this over 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, by the way, that mound there underneath the tower, that was made by Bill and his son. And it opens up and there's a whole underground area. It's really cool. All right. I'm putting this up because this is going to end soon. All right. So I promised Kurt I'd push the Kickstarter for Shantytown a little bit more here. Yep. Now you guys will get to see it. It's on the post too. So what was I gonna say? Oh, who am I reading? Oh my gosh. Dragons in the Dining Room are doing Ghost of Saltmarsh now. I don't know them. They have 8 people. How I nerd.
TLC. Yeah.
Oh, it can't hurt. I'll just do it because we've done everyone else who's on Wednesday. We're gonna just do it. They'll be like, "Who's this?" Why not? Okay, we're gonna do Dragons in the Dining Room. That'll be fun. Let's see if I mess this up. There it is. Oh, why not? Rate starting. I mean, I'm starting to set it up. Let's see if we can get over to 30. That'd be cool. There we go. Oh, nice. Perfect. All right, everyone have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7:30, for Adventure 880 Incident at Junction Blockhouse. All right, see you guys then. Use guys, South Jersey Talk.
Yep. Thank you.
Get to it. Oh my gosh, that stinks.
It worked according to chat, so it worked.
That's cool. I can't get there myself. There it is. All right.